In this video, the Bitcoin price is currently bouncing between support and resistance in this triangle, and I want to show you why Bitcoin is now coiling up for a breakout in the immediate future. I'm going to show you exactly what will happen as the Bitcoin price does break out of this triangle, and exactly what you need to think about if you intend to trade this breakout. And also, I want to talk about this survey saying that 84% of Americans want another stimulus check. And I want to talk about why currency printing and quantitative easing is not a long-term solution, and why the monetary system we have today is fundamentally flawed, and what alternative I would like to see in the future. And also later in this video, I am going to share with you a few book recommendations about Bitcoin that I recommend to everyone who is a holder of Bitcoin. And if you think that that sounds interesting, then I think that you should definitely watch this video. To the moon, my name is Carl, and I'm here to bring you this cryptocurrency video. To the moon, my name is Carl, and I'm here to bring you this cryptocurrency video. And let's take a look at the Bitcoin price and the fact that we are seeing a possible pattern forming here in the price. And this is the 4-hourly chart. And basically we can see a convergence of support and resistance, giving us a potential symmetrical triangle or a horizontal triangle. And let's first try to establish if this is a symmetrical triangle or not. First of all, of course, they should be horizontal, and that checks out. We should have this convergence of support and resistance, and we need at least 3 touches on one side and 2 touches on the other side. And you can see how we have 1, 2, 3 touches on the support line, and on the resistance here we have 1, 2, and in fact we are currently forming a potential third bounce, which means that we have even 6 bounces, so that also checks out. And then we need the volume to preferably be declining, and that is something that we don't see currently. You can see that from the beginning of this pattern, the volume has been pretty much horizontal with a few spikes and a few tops and bottoms, but basically we don't have declining volume. And in most symmetrical triangles we do see a declining volume, but it's not necessarily something that would debunk a pattern. But generally what I like to see is a clear downtrend in the volume, because usually that means that the pattern is going to perform much better. Now we will still see inevitably a break out of this convergence of support and resistance, but maybe we shouldn't expect the biggest of moves. When we do break out, we need to check the volume, and the volume will be key for us to establish or to predict if this is going to be a powerful break or not. If there is a big volume spike at the point of the breakout, let's say we break down here, if the volume is very high, then we can expect this performance to be good, and we will probably see a explosive move. The same goes for the upside. If we were to break to the upside, check the volume. And let's also, of course, take a look at the potential price targets. Now, a symmetrical triangle is, in fact, a neutral pattern. It doesn't have a clear bias either up or down, so it's a 50-50 pattern. Although, of course, if you find a symmetrical triangle in a very clear downtrend, then the pattern should have a higher likelihood of breaking to the downside. And, of course, looking at the bigger time frame here, it sure looks like we are in a downtrend. But you could also make the case that in the short term here, we are in an uptrend. So I'm not going to give you a clear bias here, because I think that, it is a neutral pattern, so we should treat it neutrally. And for a breakout trader, you only wait for the breakout anyways, so you don't need to predict the breakout before it happens. Just when the price finally does break out, you just have to be quick to react and put in your trade. And if I were to take this line from the bottom to the top and put this at the point of a potential break to the downside, then we can see that we might see a Bitcoin price come down to $5.3 thousand. If we were to get a break to the upside, we can see that the price might come all the way up to $8,700 approximately. And although this is a neutral pattern, we should also be aware of the fact that the path of least resistance is still to the downside, of course, because of the huge amount of resistance we have above us now. So for Bitcoin to break through to the upside, Bitcoin really needs a lot of strength. And of course, I'm very bullish for Bitcoin in the midterm, long term. I know that Bitcoin has enough strength to eventually break through this resistance. But the big question is, will Bitcoin be able to do it now, or are we going to have to wait a while until Bitcoin breaks through this resistance? But yeah, basically a breakout is coming within the next 2-3 days. As you can see, based on this pattern, the converging support and resistance is getting very, very narrow. And yeah, I would not give it more than maximum 48 hours for this to break out. But honestly, this could easily break out today, just as I uploaded this video. So let's keep a close eye on the Bitcoin price. And if you are an experienced trader and if you're looking for some platform to trade Bitcoin, you can use my affiliate links to these 3 platforms down here. These are the best alternatives to BitMEX, and I recommend everyone to leave BitMEX if you haven't already done so. Make sure to use these links, because if you do use these links, you will get a deposit bonus after sign up. And next up, look at this tweet. We now have socialism for the rich and capitalism for the poor. And what I'm talking about here is all of these bailouts and all of these the free cash that is getting handed out to the big institutions and to the bigger players in this world. We just saw Harvard get $9 million in a stimulus relief, and it begs the question, why are we seeing this kind of money being handed out to these bigger players while the poor people are not getting this kind of money? And of course, some people might say, well, we did get $1.2 thousand over in America, but in my opinion, I think that giving out 1.2 thousand to people is a very cheap way to just keep people happy in the short term, to make people feel like they're getting a piece of the cake. But guys, $1.2 thousand per citizen compared to the trillions and trillions that have been used for bailouts for banks and corporations, it's a big difference if you look at the total amount of value going to the citizens and going to the companies. So $1.2 thousand is a cheap way to keep people from revolution. That's what I see this as. And this monetary system is fundamentally flawed. This keeps the poor people poor, it keeps the rich people rich, and the banks will always be bailed out no matter how much stupid mistakes they do. It is a crazy system, and this is why we need to decentralize money as quick as possible, because with a money that is decentralized, then we won't have this centralized system where central authorities can decide who gets money and who does not get money. And look at this survey. 84% of Americans want another stimulus check. And that's exactly what I was just talking about. People love free cash, but people don't understand that there is no such thing as a free lunch. All of this cash has to come from somewhere, and all money, all currency, all credit is born out of debt. And devaluing all the other units of units in circulation doesn't create any value in and of itself. You can never print money out of nothing. You can never print value out of nothing. Every new dollar created means that every existing dollar is less valuable. And this is something that few people actually understand. And this is why people are begging for free cash now, as of course people losing their jobs, people are very fearful. And so I understand, I get the point, but the system was fundamentally flawed from the beginning, and continuing this money printing is not going to solve any of the problems that we have today. The debt problem cannot be solved by just printing the debt away. It's not possible. You cannot do that. That would end up in hyperinflation eventually. And next up, this tweet I think is important because I want to give a big shout out to Andreas Antonopoulos and Saifedean Ammous. These two people are, in my opinion, the two most valuable people in crypto. At least I've learned a lot from both of these, and I think that you should go and like this tweet and go and follow their Twitter accounts. And if you didn't already know, they both have made big contributions for Bitcoin. They have written books, and they are doing a lot of presentations and educating people about Bitcoin and crypto. And actually, if you go down below my video and click this link here, Best Bitcoin Books, it's an Amazon affiliate link, you will end up on this page. And if you click here, Bitcoin Books, I have put all of the books from Saifedean Ammous and Andreas Antonopoulos here. So the Bitcoin Standard, if you haven't read it, make sure to go and buy it today. It's a very, very good book about the monetary system and how that gives value to Bitcoin. And then, of course, you have Andreas Antonopoulos. He made this book, The Internet of Money, The Internet of Money Volume 2, and Mastering Bitcoin. The best thing you can do in this world is educate yourself and invest in yourself. And these books are highly recommended from my point of view. I have read all of these, and I really think that everyone who holds Bitcoin should have read all of these 4 books. So make sure to go down into the description, click that affiliate link, and buy these books today. And next up, yesterday I recorded this interview with Be in Crypto. I talk about the popping of the global debt bubble and what I think about the current situation. And I have a lot of interesting thoughts that I shared with this interviewer. And if you want to watch this video, I think that you should definitely click right here, right now, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.